Hi guys, it's album review time. We've got Nestor and Teenage Rebel. Been sent this album early. It's coming out on May the 31st on Napalm Records. 11 tracks on this follow-up to Kids in a Ghost Town. So Swedish, a lot of people are into this sort of music, melodic rock, AOR melodic rock. We've heard of this band by now. A great story behind this band. Swedish, formed in 1989. Didn't really release much apart from a demo, I think, that's floating about on the internet. And they went away for years and years, came back in 2021 with one of the albums of the year, which was Kids in a Ghost Town. Amazing album. Just, although it probably seems like a lifetime for the band, it came out of nowhere on this scene. And it just literally, I mean, they've secured a deal with Napalm Records. That's really, really cool. And to go from a band like that that's been away for so many years, I can imagine there was lots of record companies bidding against each other when it comes to signing this band. And what an awesome band they are. They really are one amazing band. And this has been one of my most anticipated releases since Kids in a Ghost Town was released in 2021. I think I put it on my 2023 list. We did a show with the Iridiates where we talked about our most anticipated albums. I was expecting an album 2 years after. We're getting one 3 years after. We had the Kids in a Ghost Town re-release for Napalm Records with a couple of brilliant tracks on. So the anticipation was there. I was even going to do a track by track reaction, but can you imagine if you're sent this album early, you can't help but listen to it. And I just couldn't help. The truth is, I thought I just can't wait. And I've heard it. Does it live up to the debut album? Oh yeah. Oh yes, it lives up to the debut album. I knew I wouldn't be disappointed, but I was a bit worried. Because when you get one that's so good, an album that's so good, can it actually be as good? Oh yes, it can be as good. It can be even better. It's an amazing album. Let me tell you that now, guys. I mean, they've come such a long way. Imagine that. They've, like I said, they formed in 1989. Not much happened. You know, it was a difficult year at the end of the 90s, 80s, wasn't it? And then we was going into that, you know, beginning of the 90s, obviously. They played with Kiss on their tour. They've shared stages with Alice Cooper, Def Leppard. It's just an amazing thing. It really is. So I'm in awe of this album. I really am. It's the perfect album. I am saying right now, at this time, although there's a lot of time to go this year, album of the year. Album of the year. And the great releases that have been released already, man. I mean, that's an amazing feat alone. It really is. There's not a filler to be found here. Not one filler. It has all those infectious hooks and emotions and grooves that the debut album had. It's technically brilliant as well. I mean, it's sometimes easy to forget that because the songs are so good, you're just enthralled with the hooks. Musicianship across the board, it's just amazing. I'm gonna go on to the musicians in a minute, but man, it almost, they're a new band, but when I started playing this album, it's like a long lost friend. Honestly, I've just been waiting in anticipation to hear this album. It's nostalgic without feeling like nostalgia bait, if you know what I mean. It's so expertly done because it howls back to, you know, the great decade of music, which is the 80s, but it's not nostalgia bait. It's so well done. It's anthemic. It's stadium filling music. They deserve every accolade that surely is coming to them. I'm sure they're heading for the big time, even more than what they are now. Amazing band. Like I said, the perfect album. So the guys in this band, Tobias Gustafsson on vocals, just is a warmth to his voice. There's a soul to his voice. There's so much melody to his voice. But the most, you know, he's a Swedish band that's, you know, Sweden is just full up with these amazing bands, isn't it? But I've got to say about Tobias Gustafsson is that his vocals really stand out as characteristic. You know, it's him. This is one of the most important things, you know, I believe, to make you stand out in the world of melodic rock, not just within Sweden, in the world. So I love his vocals. He pours everything into his vocals. Amazing, amazing musician. Then you've got Johnny Wemenstedt on the guitars. Yeah, I mean, I did say that it's easy to forget the technical ability of this band when you're listening to the songs, because the hook is the main thing, and it always should be. In melodic rock, the chorus is massive, you know. Everything about it is just enthralls you with, you know, with the lead up to the chorus, and everything's hooky, and there's great riffs and all that. But man, some of the solos across this album, it's just mind blowing. It really is. It's an outstanding part of this album, as well as the songs. Marcus Ablad on the bass, along with Matthias Coulson on the drums. Just a brilliant rhythm section, and you know, they're in this band as well that are technically brilliant. You know, there's some amazing intricate parts of rhythm here, but mainly they're just so tight, keeping that rhythm going in this glorious album of hooks. Then you got Martin Fregender on the keys. I mean, man, they play a big part on this album, keys. Perfectly placed, perfectly used. Sometimes are a really big hook of the song itself. I love the keyboard work across this. And again, you know, really bringing in that 80s feel, you know, across this album. Them keys are a really important part. Everyone in this band is amazing, I've got to say. What a great album this is. Guys, if you're getting excited like I was, you won't be disappointed, I tell you. I'm going to run through the tracks. I'm going to talk about every track, because every track is brilliant. Well, we have got a little bit of a intro, which is cool. It's called The Law of Yonsei, and it features a female narrator, Frey Yamila, and it's a narration part. It lasts just over a minute, and there's some nostalgic little radio parts and TV excerpts and, you know, stuff like that, little speeches that came out of that decade. And a beautiful little piano part leads us into the first track, which is We Come Alive. And man, what a brilliant song to start off. The frenetic guitar work kicks in, and we're off. We're off to a flying start, and the smile just cracked when this song first started. A smile just cracked across my face. Everything you loved about the debut, it hits harder here. The production, the sound of Nestor is back, and it's brilliant. It's an amazing rocking start to the album. The inviting, almost addictive sound of this amazing band is back, and they sound better than ever. And there is an addictive sound to them. I must admit, I listen to Kids in a Ghost Town a lot. It never wore down. It doesn't matter how many times you listen to those songs, it's an addictive sound they've got, and you never get tired of listening to them. It's so melodic, it's so instant. Tobias soars with his unmistakable vocals, and then we get an unbelievable solo, first song proper, as Wemenstedt's hands just sort of dance their way across the fretboard in this guitar, and then bang, the song's over in a flash. An outstanding start to the album. And then we get on to the next track, Teenage Rebel. Medium to fast paced, another explosive start to this title track. I get some classic Bon Jovi feels as Tobias beautiful, he sort of delivers this vocal line, I'm running for the last train to my hometown. And then we talk about, you know, reminiscing about his childhood and good times and stuff. Piano sort of tinkers along with this riffy guitar work, and again, I'm just smiling to myself as this song's playing. If anyone doubts that music ain't the way it used to be, and there's a lot of those people, isn't there? They need to listen to Nestor right fucking now. A huge chorus again on this song that just has so much energy, so much melody. Another outstanding bit of guitar work with an amazing solo when you get Wemenstedt sort of dampening his guitar strings and sort of playing this brilliant solo. A rocking and brilliant title track. Then we get to Last to Know. The band sort of slows down, sort of for a beautiful track. It has a bit of a Def Leppard feel, I would say. You know, when Def Leppard were a great band. You know, we're talking classic Def Leppard here. This really is a song that you could hear, you know, as a film titles roll up at the end of a coming-of-age 80s movie or something like that. It's like Bad English and Def Leppard had a baby, man. This track is just a masterclass in how you write a sort of ballad in 2024. We'll get onto proper ballads later, but the synth work here is just perfect as well. Just adding to an already perfectly executed song. Then we get onto the single, Victorious. So what an amazing song this is. I'm sure everyone's heard this one now. If there was any doubt that this band weren't going to deliver this time round, this song came out a couple of weeks ago when they released a video for this. Everything Nestor gave us on the debut is delivered in this track. It's amazing. The pure class that the band oozes is just here in an amazing nearly 4 minutes of brilliance. It really is. They take influence from classic bands that we love, of course. All bands do, all great bands do, but they have an amazing sound of their own as well. Caroline is the next track. I love this song. Medium pace song. It's sort of a ballad, or a ballad with teeth, as my mate Mark Clower would say. The emotion runs high on this track, as it's got one of the best choruses on an album that is just full. It's chock full of amazing choruses. There's a really lovely, cool, sort of simple start-stop riff in the chorus. Really, for my, in my taking, it's influenced by Toto, sort of Hold the Line-esque, with Tobias just belting out Caroline. It's just a masterclass in melodic rock and a standout track. The one that got away is next. And although we've had a couple of tracks that you could put or be argued that they are in the ballad territory, there is no argument here. The proper ballad of the album. Piano and Tobias, sort of unmistakable vocals that you could just make you sit back and just take it all in. Guitar is here, but it's sort of more understated to make sure that this purely is a love song, and you feel that emotion and it hits hard. It really does. Nestor just deliver a ballad better than any band out there at the moment. Beautiful stuff. Addicted to Your Love is the next track. I've been putting scores, by the way, by all these tracks, just to give me an idea how much I love them. There's some really high scores here. Unbelievable for me as well. I'm very tight on my scores. An explosive solo on this one kicks this brilliant track off. You can almost feel the heat off a city street. That's how it makes you feel as they deliver a brilliant 80s influenced song. Although this track really rocks, it has a melancholy sort of feel to it, especially in the chorus. Perfectly written. It's just effortless as the band just churn out hook after hook after hook. I know I keep saying it, but another massive standout track. Then we move on to 21. This is a really fast track. The fastest track actually on the album. It's explosive and it doesn't waste any time as it sort of clocks in just under 3 minutes. Although it rocks out though, all the usual tropes are there for Nestor. It's unmistakable Nestor actually. The bridge to the chorus really reminds me of something, and I was trying to think what it was. I just couldn't pinpoint it. I probably will do at some point when listening to this song. When we think of Nestor, the first thing is huge melodies. That's what we think of. And some of the catchiest songs we've ever heard. That's also true here, but the technical ability across this song, especially in this track, is just jaw-dropping. Unchain My Heart is track 10. Just wow. Just wow. This song, man. The song starts with an amazing stomp, which just follows through on the chorus. Again, hot city streets come to mind, sort of top down, just blasting this track. Other bands would kill to write songs this good. It's an absolute beast of a track. This just kicks absolute arse. It had my arse being kicked all the way across the room. Perhaps my favourite song on the album. There's so many great songs on this album, but this one, Unchain My Heart, perhaps my favourite song on the album. And all the songs I've said that are just stand out, I think this song really had that extra something that just made it, just so good. It's an amazing song. Unchain My Heart is perfect. Then we move on to the last track. It's called Daughter. The final track, and what a brilliant way to finish the album. A beautiful piano accompanies Tobias, excellent vocal delivery, and he sings from father to daughter. It's an emotional song that really hits home for me, as I have two beautiful daughters that I never stop worrying about, that are quite a few hours away from me. Although they are old enough to look after themselves, you can't help but worry about them. There's an amazingly brilliant emotional guitar solo in this song. It sort of tops off an excellent closer to an album, like I said at the beginning, that is my album of the year at this stage. It's the album of the year. It's gonna take something special to beat this album. I think I said at the beginning, everything you want from Nestor is here. I think they up the ante even more. I think the album sounds a little bit better production wise, but although they've sort of kept that feel, do you know what I mean? You could put this and Kids in a Ghost Town side by side. It's not that much difference in production. I don't think it should be. It's almost, Nestor have got their own sound musically, and I think they've got their own sound production wise as well, and I don't want them to lose that. I think that's, you know, something that makes the band special as well. So guys, that's my review of Nestor Teenage Rebel. I wanted to either do a track by track, or I wanted to do the reactions to the videos when they came out, but that ain't gonna happen now because I just couldn't help myself. I really honestly, I just couldn't. It landed on email, thanks to the band for sending it to me, by the way, and I just couldn't resist it. It's one of them albums that I can't wait. I can't wait. I've got to listen to it. That's how exciting music is to me. And I really wanted to convey my thoughts to you guys, to tell you how good this album is. May the 31st on Napalm Records. You're going to love this, guys. Teenage Rebel by Nestor. It's absolutely amazing. I'd say order it now. Do what you got to do to get hold of this album. You won't disappoint you. I'll see you soon.